Bonga waliwo abatunda amandazi, abatunda samosa. In that coldness, mwebale, I salute you, I respect you. Mwemuyimiriza w'eggwanga lino. Gwe sajja erisigadde mu buliri nga webase mama w'abaana agenze kola. My friend, zuukuka obeeko nekyokola obeere ng'olabirira abaana bo embeera nabo ebeere ng'ebatambulira ddala bulungi sana. Olunaku olwajjo, it was budget reading era embalirira ya trillions za Uganda 5.7 yayanjuddwa eri eggwanga. So many things were said yesterday. Nalabye President Yoweri Museveni virtually ng'ayogerako eri eggwanga n'abaka ba parliament naga nti akati abobeera ng'otunulidde focus yaffe ng'eggwanga kwongera household income, and in doing that twesibye ku parish development model mutugenda okuyita okuyamba bannansi Uganda ebitundu 39 ku buli 100, ebitundu 39 ku buli 100 ebikyali mu subsistence economy. When you look at this budget, does it reflect that? Maybe. You can go to our social media platforms oberengo tubulya kyolowooza ku budget ya Uganda nga bwagira byonako olwajjo. Baba Television Uganda, eyo Facebook at Baba TV, eyo Twitter at Baba TV Uganda, eyo Twitter oba at Adam Kungu, that's my personal Twitter handle, oba at Simon Muyanga Lutaaya. Sebo. Namusa kubantu sebo.
Sebo no batonsazeeko. Sebo bonsindise mu ddala ly'ababajjo.
Okay. His Excellency.
Sir.
Your Excellency, Sir Simon Muyanga Lutaaya, President wegadumire.
Otayga nti life.
Ye life nga wabadduka kuli Kampala wenjirisa. You can't
be president ali wamwe ngoma.
Ofugire eno.
President yaba president.
Ofugire eno.
Oli yasome budget ngali mukasisira kye atuweereza.
Yabadde mukasisira. Yasinziddeeyo.
Ate nendaba maama nga ye talina masiki. Sabitegedde. Muzeeyi mulwadde. Maama amuvaako emabega amutwala w'atuula alabe budget bagirabe bombi nga maama tayambadde masiki. Kwegamba.
Yabadde alina okwambala masiki.
Ng'ate olina omulwadde.
Anti ye maama bamukebedde kusinziira ku mwami Museveni abadde atuga nti maami yali negative.
Yali negative naye ng'oli positive. So sigala weetangira wano obutakufuula negative.
Wabaddewo ka distance. Babadde very closer to each other.
Maama.
Yes.
Nga batambudde. Wabalabye. Wabalabye.
I didn't see, but babadde close to each other.
Too close.
Really?
Omukulu akulembedde nga maama avaako.
Oba lwakuba muzeeyi ali ku treatment.
So bw'oba ku treatment tosiiga. Amanyiza enjiga biige bw'oba ku treatment tosiiga.
Ati nange mbuuza bibuuzo. Oba maybe.
Ekyerwasya kyawedde tekibakozesa.
Zukuka naffe buli ku makya ssebo tobuuziza ku bantu. Lamusa ku bantu.
Bakagwambala mwisa. Mwebale kubaayo, mwebale kwekuuma, mwebale kuwagira Baba TV nife ng'abantu Simon Muyanga Lutaaya ninze ni mukwano gwammwe Adam Almad Kungu. Mwebale tulwale tujja kwogera ino ku bintu eby'embalirira. Olunaku lw'eggulo gavumenti ya Uganda yabisiza embalirira eidwira amabanda ameereere. Era mu mbala ekyategereka nti najja okubala ku omwezi guno gwe tulimu nga Uganda ebandibwa trillion 88.9 88.9 trillion.
Where are we now?
Ni sente ebibandibwa Uganda.
Now, or at the end of
by the end of this month.
So I think by the end of this month. Ooh.
Despite that, the government of Uganda intends to borrow more money to finance its activities.
Does that worry you?
But
yeah.
It's a big worry. We must show great strides in production. Because when you're producing, it's easy for you to tell someone that whatever musiri gwa kasooli ogwo bwe naagukungula mu gw'omunaana nja kuwa sente zo, and nakuwanja may believe. So unless Mr. Museveni says that our oil will offset the 88.9 trillion, There is cause to worry.
Now, two things.
What is it that we are going to do?
If you listen to the president yesterday, because I did very critically, two things in what you're saying. One, he emphasized the need for export promotion and import substitution.
Good.
Yatugambye nti tugenda kukola nnyo
And value addition.
and value addition.
Value addition is just one of the measures.
Yes, but ku issue alone, president yatugambye nti loans zino zoyogeddeko.
Amabanga.
Yes, yatugambye nti ku budget ya Uganda ku trillion 52.7 bw'ojjako trillion 17 naga ku zo trillion 17 zigenda kusasula mabanja
Alimba.
era n'ayongerako
Bazisingawo.
yes I'm saying this verbatim era n'ayongerako nti okwewola kuno kwonna kuvudde ku bantu batayagaliza ggwanga n'agamba nti until recently when I decided nti teri looni yonna gye tufuna okuggyako nga ye nga president agikkiriza bigambo ya mwami Museveni. And I want to read for you verbatim what he said, and I don't know why you're saying nti alimba, because ekyo kyekyayanjuddwa eggwanga. In fact waliwo neyangambye eggulu nti tugenda kusasula trillion 19. President yatugambye 17. But let me just read what the president said, just verbatim. Mwami Museveni yagambye wano nga bwolaba, yagambye mbu, I don't know whether that's the right word, yagambye you had your budget of 52 trillion shillings. While I support that budget because there is not any other solution in the short term, it's important to note that 17 trillion of that budget is to pay debts.
Agateko.
Many of these debts were being pushed by the neo-colonial public servants.
Neo.
Until recently,
The neo.
when I put down my foot and insisted on approving every loan.
We wavu n'obutuluma. So bano ba neo. The what? The neo baga.
The neo-colonial public servants.
Neo. Maybe I never have malayo. Bano ba neo bagamba bo. Ani abawo obuyinza n'obuvumu okwewola nga president ategete. You mean in this country some people have been organizing and helping government to borrow without the approval and knowledge of the president?
I thought
That's what it is.
I thought you've been encouraging for systems to operate on this show.
That's what it means. That someone can commit the government of Uganda or the people of Uganda and borrow a loan.
Without through the consent of the CEO of the country.
Because the CEO is indicting himself. So is it possible that people were borrowing without his knowledge?
That's what the president said until recently.
Until recently. Lwaki omusajja ono takkiriza generator etandike? Ebyaddala byennyini. Because this statement shows that before, until recently, many loans were being acquired without the approval of the president.
Without that knowledge and approval.
Until recently.
Yes.
Until
recently.
What does that mean? That someone else other than the person we gave our mandate committed us to this kind of indebtedness.
Yes.
Without the approval of our own CEO. And now there are 4.
But he has now taken it up.
Yeah.
And he says, until recently, when I put down my foot.
In serious countries, this will be an indicting statement.
No, nekyakola kyo kiri mu mateeka oba tekirimu, because president agambye until recently when I put down my foot okutuusa wano gy'oli abalamu bwe navaayo ne ŋŋamba nti no. President alinga alwanagana ne.
Before he put down his foot was up. And while his foot was up, people committed us to these hefty loans. Government of the Republic of Uganda, ripe for sale. This government is ripe for sale. If anybody had money to buy this country, this country is ripe for sale.
So Mwami Museveni alinga tugamba nti alina abantu balwanagana na mu government
within his own government, which the other drunkard has been saying that there is a subterfuge within the state, that there is a government within Mr. Museveni's government. Because if the government of Uganda is led by Mr. Museveni, who else was sanctioning and okaying the borrowing day in, day out without the approval of the president? Let somebody who has money, like these guys who are buying football teams, buy this country. This country is ripe for sale. This country is ripe for sale. Because I know that sente zimu zebagula clubs z'emipiira mu Bungereza zisinga budget ya Uganda combined. Let someone buy this country, run it better like a company, make profits, pay himself. He will hand over this country to us maybe after 10 or 15 years. Some of these statements only sound the minds of feeble thinkers, people whose minds are feeble. Abantu ab'obwongo nga butono, they will receive this. Otherwise, this statement is a serious indictment on the president. That we are indebted to a tune of 88.9 trillion, but says part of this money, this mess we are in, has been caused by neo
public servant.
The neo people who were borrowing
without the knowledge
uselessly,
and
unjustifiably, without his
knowledge and consent
until recently.
When he chose to put his foot on
yakawa mwe mumwagala naye amazima yaka aweddeko.
No, but you see, I thought you'd be happy now. Happy because it's never too late. If we've been borrowing aimlessly to the extent that batubanja trillion kinana mumunana nga agamu kumabanja gano Mwami Museveni nga president nga CEO w'eggwanga batagamanyiko nga kati akirabye.
That pushes us to the next question yokubuuza, sente zebeewola nga tazimanyiiko zaakola ki?
Zaakola ki oba baani? Because now the question should be baani kye kisooka beewola
zaakola ki? Because if he says that the money borrowed is the money they have been using to put up infrastructure, building power dams, reconstructing our roads and the rest, that he himself and his ministers have been commissioning, you mean he's been commissioning without asking, where did we get money to do this? Nebwe mbaka amatu sibakapa. Nyizo kubaka amatu amamagalavu naye siri kamyu. Nyizo kubaka omukira naye siri mbuzi. Really? So when you sit in danger, you know these things here. No. Some of these statements, no. The good thing.
Some pertinent questions. Kubanga, the other day, Bonjukira ku NRM Manifesto Implementation Week. Was it? Yeah. Nga batubalira amakubo ge bakoze, akatukoze kino. So mwe mutulaga bulazi bye mukoze, naye nga temumanyi sente gye zaava. So this could...
If Mr. Museveni is happy with the progress we have registered in infrastructure development and service delivery, and he knows very well that these were funded by some of this borrowed money, he cannot turn around to say the neo people. No. Then that means that the neo he is talking about,
so who is in charge of this country?
Loved us more than him. That because they loved us, they ignored him, borrowed to help our country progress. You cannot tell these people who have brains, fools and idiots can listen to this and swallow it without question. If I were in parliament, if I were in government, if I were in a position to ask, I would then ask, who are the people he's calling neo? Let him name the neo.
Do you find that vague?
And let the neo tell us.
Is that statement very vague? Neo-colonial public servants. It's vague because you want him to mention who are them. Who are these people you're talking about?
Well, still, when you say neo, we know that when it comes to borrowing, you can close in on the group first who initiates the need to borrow, who reviews the need to borrow, who sanctions the borrowing, who receives the borrowed money, who spends the borrowed money, on which projects is the borrowed money spent, who approved those projects, I can close in. I will close in and know who these neo are.
Maybe he knows them and he just didn't want to delve into details.
So it means that baganti weekisize achira tunama. So at times I feel that the president is well intentioned, but some of his things should be kept to himself. Because if the people were sober, if there were a few people who are sober, this would be indicting himself.
Baba TV. But as we go for a break, I was very happy yesterday, as you predicted, or as you said rightly so here in the morning yesterday. Yagenda okwanjula eggwanga budget ya Uganda. A minister omu ku banokuloyo ku nsonga z'amabaati, Honorable Matia Kasaija, yatugamba the economy of Uganda is on.
Then he comes 2 years later to tell us that, by the way, our borrowing has risen to 88.9 trillion.
This is the gentleman.
Government of the Republic of Uganda, ripe for sale. But now, musaba abagagga b'Ebungereza n'abagagga ba Buwarabu abalina ssente zino ze boonona mbu bagula ttiimu za mipiira n'ebirala bajje bagula eggwanga. Oli eggwanga lisinga mbadde nina ssente, by the way lirimu amagoba. Osooka n'oligula, bw'omala okuligula n'okomya ababbi kubanga olwo beefuuse kampuni yo, sente zokka ze babba zokka bw'otyo okuziziyiza zimala okuzza eggwanga lino engulu, n'olitereeza n'okola amagoba n'ofujamu sente ze wateekamu n'okwata ku magoba nabo n'obawaako. Twandiguze eggwanga. Ani asobola ani mugagga kyayina ssente bweru?
Sheikh Jassim oyagala ogula mani.
Agula mani. Yantugulidde eggwanga n'emyaka 10 n'ajjamu ssente.
Jassim ebyamani abive.
Abireke agule lino. This country is profitable. It's only remove the poor managers, use the resources optimally, do proper planning, market the country, spark production, look for markets, make sure you are exporting more than you are importing. No, but I want to remind you.